Dubai. Welcome back to Lovin Dubai show, where we go through the top trending stories that everyone across the country is talking about. There is a huge hotel in Dubai up for sale for 1.3 billion dirham.
As well, London's Salt is a rip-off the UAE-based Salt restaurant.
London Salt, what a joke. Amini Essavi is the first Arab ambassador for Jean-Paul Gaultier in the Middle East.
As well, we're going to be making an incredible brew at home with DeLonghi Eletta Explore.
So excited about that one. Also, we're talking about the new blue visa today. Yes, we are. We have Decisive Zone back in studio. So if you have any questions about it, how you can get it, the cost, who is eligible, please drop them in now.
And it's 226 days since the genocide began on October 7 in Gaza. The current death toll stands at 35,386, and the number of injured people is 79,366, and 1.9 million people have been displaced from their homes.
Today's weather, I'm sure you've noticed it, humidity is high. The National Centre of Meteorology, NCM, they urge motorists to follow traffic regulations regarding chance fog formations this morning. It was kind of running from 2 a.m. until 8:30, so you should be in the clear now. There's highs of 33s today as we enjoy that blanket of fog sitting over us, causing that high humidity. Before we jump into our top stories, we want to talk about tipping.
Yes.
Because one of the stories that went live on our page was someone highlighting the fact that only one person in 48 trips got a tip. And your response to this post is surprising to me.
I agree with you. So I decided to talk about the issue, right? And I have created a TikTok and posted it on the TikTok account. And honestly, the comments are wild. Now, some people were like, oh yeah, you know, I want a tip, but I'm broke too. However, whoever thinks in that way, it's like, fine, you know, you might not be as financially stable as you would want to be, but think about them. 1 dirham, it's what is it actually gonna, you know, affect, you know what I mean? And as well, a lot of people were like, oh, how am I supposed to tip when delivery and other fees are crazy?
That was the key thing that came up. So one of the comments, and like these comments are getting hundreds of likes, it's like the delivery apps are already selling food at hiked prices, and then they charge a good amount for delivery charges, and after all this they're putting it on the customers in guilt for not paying tips. What kind of sorcery is this? So they're basically saying that we're being guilted into paying tips because we know that salaries aren't high, but it's on the delivery companies to pay higher salaries.
I agree with that, but as well, you know, like if you are tipping for like 1 dirham, 2 dirhams, what is it going to affect? What is it going to take out of your salary?
I think though, depending on how much you're spending, 1 or 2 dirham doesn't cut it, because it won't, fair enough, but the respected amounts that they suggest, so like on some of the delivery partners, they'll be like, okay, 5%, 10%, 15%. They give you that because that will make maybe a significant impact on, you know, the cost of delivery.
100%.
So maybe 5% if like 1 or 2 you're going up to 5. But really surprising is that people are saying, do not bring US tipping culture here, please and thank you. Raise their wages if you must. But we've all seen how some people become entitled and greedy when they're not given a 30% tip over something as simple as a cheeseburger. I don't know if I agree with that, to be honest. I don't think it's that simple.
Yeah, I agree with you, honestly. But you know what? Look, I do understand. I understand like where that comment is coming from. But at the same time, you know, yes, they might actually do turn greedy and they go like, hey, that's how much you should pay. You know, I've been at restaurants where they're like forced, you know, like a certain amount of money to be put as a tip, which is understandable. But at the same time, okay, I'm going to be a devil's advocate for this. If I'm going to go to a restaurant, right, and I have that much amount of money that I want to pay to enjoy a burger or a chicken Alfredo, right? They can assume that, you know, maybe this is the amount that I have and I have the rest kept for me on the side. So them asking me to actually tip that much amount of money, I feel like it's kind of like rude.
So you're saying you don't think you should tip?
I think we should tip, but I think everyone should be, I would say, should have the freedom to tip the amount that they should or they want to.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about Dubai is that we don't have, people are saying don't bring US tipping culture here, but we don't have that because we're such a mix of nationalities and every nationality or country has their own tipping culture, that therefore the nice thing about going out for a meal here, the nice thing is that there is no expectation. But when you actually bring it to the fore, there's no expectation, which is nice. But when that lady highlighted that one out of 48 tips, now some could have been cash, but 1 out of 48 tips, if that was the right number, 1 out of 48 tips, deliveries got a tip, like that actually shows quite significantly that people aren't tipping. And when you actually put it to the audience is saying, raise salaries rather than us tipping. They're blaming the delivery companies. I don't fully agree with it. I think it's still a service, and regardless of salaries, because in this comment here, they said people will get greedy, and I think that's unfair. It's like saying you raise an employee's salary and they get greedy. No, they're still motivated to do their work because they care about their career and they care about growth.
That's true.
I don't think we should compare it to US tipping culture, but I think that we should have a general sense of service, happy with it, lower salary if I'm getting deliveries regularly, because we all do, because it's a delivery city, and because maybe wages are low because we have access to everything, but we on the other hand, on the receiving end, I think we should have a sense of tipping culture. It doesn't need to be the same percentage as other cities. I think in the States they go up to 20. It's a lot, especially if you're getting deliveries all the time.
That is a lot, yes, 100%.
But service, happy, tip.
But also, by
unhappy,
the way,
don't bother.
That is, I agree with you on that. Because, you know, like when you are ordering like food, right? The delivery driver is on the motorcycle risking his life. You know, he has for sure gone through traffic, dodged a couple of, or even more of accidents, you know, because like we do see like a lot of like cars actually, you know, like maybe swerving, and you know that's why they tell you like, oh, check your blind spot because there is a delivery driver, right? And they for sure dodged a lot of accidents, and they have gone through a lot, like literally a lot to have your food delivered to you. So if that's the case and you are not tipping, then you are not understanding that the point is that you are not tipping them for the food that they are bringing, but for the service and for just like as a sort of appreciation, and not like either way, whether they raise their salaries or not. I think it's like it's like really kind. But also I have a friend who has told me that she does not tip because she thinks it's rude.
Yeah, in some cultures it is considered rude to tip, and they don't accept it, which is very interesting.
That's true. She feels like, oh yeah, you know what, Farah, if I tip, it's like I'm telling them like, hey, you don't have money, let me tip you.
There's so much. Guys, everyone watching the show, we would love to get your thoughts on it. N365 Click saying, if you're ordering 4 times a day, it's not possible to tip every time, and that's we rather than a tipping culture, we have a delivery culture that you essentially are ordering 4 times a day. I think you put it into your own perspective and do what you think is right. But that one post that we shared yesterday has gotten a lot of feedback, and it shows that the majority actually don't think the tipping should be on us as people. And I think it's right to have this conversation, because I think in some way we actually should consider tipping more.
Agreed. I agree with you, Katie.
But actually, speaking of, we're jumping into the comments. We have questions coming in about visas, which we are going to talk about later in the show. And also, can I say that on the show today, one of the biggest, most exciting things on the show has happened for me, because finally someone has listened, and DeLonghi has brought a coffee machine to the show. I cannot be more excited. It's one of these home brews, and you can literally do like barista quality at home, and we're going to make one later on in the show. But before we get there, let's jump into our top stories today. The iconic Palazzo Versace hotel that you know and love is up for sale for a cool 1.3 billion dirham. So if you have some cash to flash, the hotel is on sale at half of its cost price, according to Smashy Business. So the hotel cost $626 million to build, but it is now listed on Emirates Auction. Yes, it's listed on an auction site with a starting bid of $353 million.
So, in 2016, its developer and Shah, a subsidiary of Emirates International Holding, said the hotel could fetch at least $300 million. Now, those interested in owning a piece of Dubai's luxury scene should take note of the key auction details.
The starting bid, as we said, sits at $353 million, which is, as we said, half of the construction cost. It's located in Al Jadaf. The property boasts a total area exceeding 478,000 square feet, i.e. it is huge. And it's got very lavish amenities, 65 suites overlooking the city or the creek, 4 restaurants, 2 swimming pools and a gym. And it's important to note that furniture and trade licenses don't come in the sale. So if you thought you were getting that big, beautiful property plus the Versace elements, you shall not be. But sometimes with sales, like the fixtures come. Like you know when you're selling a house, the chandeliers and the cookers go with it, but the furniture leaves. So interesting to know if the fixtures would go with this.
So actually, I've noticed that it is for $626 million, right? And its selling point is $353, I believe, million, right? So I think there is a reason for that, because like, why is such a luxury hotel located in Al Jadaf? If I am sure booking a hotel room there must be very expensive.
Have you been?
Yes.
I don't think the prices are, in comparison to Palm prices, it's not as expensive.
That is the point. That is the point.
What do you mean?
If it's, for example, if I am going to go to Al Jadaf for a staycation, right? And I am going to be paying, give it a number, a room for one night.
1,000 dirham.
All right. I would rather go and have a staycation at the Palm rather than at Al Jadaf.
No, but I'm saying Palm prices have skyrocketed, and you tend to find that the city 5 stars tend to be lower. And we can even do a quick check. I don't think that staying there is. I'd say it's half the price of the Palm hotels.
I don't think so. I think honestly. Sorry, guys. Yes, I think honestly that the reason that it's maybe like, I don't know, not doing so well because of the location, and even getting there is not that easy. And if I'm gonna go to have a staycation in Al Jadaf, I'd rather have like a staycation that's like not for like what, 500 dirhams in a hotel with the same view.
But I get you. But on the other side of it, some properties are so phenomenal that the location doesn't matter. And when you walk into the Palazzo Versace, like, it is the most bougie entranceway. The lounge is always, I haven't stayed there, but I think I've been there for maybe a brunch or two, an event or two. The lounge is always busy because I think it's the type of lounge that people just want to go sit in because it's so extra in like a gold leafed type manner.
It is. It's beautiful. You know, I went there for prom.
You had your prom?
Yeah.
At the Versace Hotel?
Yeah. Our school is extra.
Gen Z Dubai is so bougie. Is that normal?
Oh yeah, and by the way, I went to 2 proms because like my best friend was the prom committee at school, and my actual prom was at the St. Regis in Business Bay, and then we went to the other prom which was in Versace.
Oh my God, Dubai kids! I would love to. We need to talk about that tomorrow. Where you had your prom, because yeah. Totally different. But we need to run into our next story. Big news for a model that we know and love.
So Amani Sibib, which by the way I really know, is the first Arab ambassador for Jean-Paul Gaultier in the Middle East. So in an Instagram post, Amani announced that she became the first ambassador for Jean-Paul Gaultier in the Middle East and the first Arab ambassador internationally. But first, let's go back in time. Amani started modeling at the age of 18 to become the voice of all plus-size women in the Middle East.
But the main thing here is that we're removing plus size from it, right? Yes. Not relevant. She is a beautiful model and she's standing up for the Middle East. Her journey has been incredible. She's featured in magazines like Vogue, Elle, Cosmopolitan, L'Official, and so many more. She's modeled during Paris Fashion Week, and now she's become the first ambassador for Jean-Paul Gaultier in the Middle East, as we've said. So just massive props to her for this big announcement.
On her announcement post, she wrote this caption highlighting how honored she is to become the brand's ambassador. She said, she said, you know, a lot of things, which, wait, let me just open it because she actually did say some cool stuff. She said, After 3 years of hard work, I'm super honored to announce that I'm the first ambassador for Jean Paul Gaultier in the MENA region, also the first Arab ambassador internationally. Thank you for all the teams regionally and internationally for making it happen. Blessed and grateful to be part of the best family. Can I tell you something? That I know her. I know her from university, and I know her, like, I've seen her journey. She started, like, modeling, like, on the low, like, taking, like, photo shoots and so on. And she really struggled a lot, where she had been told to gain more weight. She talked about it on other shows, and
We've had her on the show here before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
She's very cool.
And her journey has been really incredible and inspiring.
Yes.
And this is huge. I think it's international, recognizing the region in a big way. So incredible. And a massive well done to you, Amin. We're going to jump into our next story. An absolute travesty was shared on Lovin Dubai page yesterday.
I don't approve of this. I mean, I'm a Dubai kid, and if something is Dubai based and someone else is trying to, like, I don't know, take it, don't. So London Salt is a rip-off the UAE-based Salt restaurant. So trending TikTok videos revealed a restaurant in London that is using Salt's name, branding, menu, and same name, claiming to be the UAE-based restaurant.
As we know, the Salt story is incredible. It originated from a simple Airstream trailer at Dubai Kite Beach with two women at its helm, Amal Al-Mari and Deem Al-Bassam, emphasizing fresh ingredients, amazing food and community.
So guests are welcome as part of the family known as Salters. The restaurant belongs to the independent food company and has grown to generate over 1 billion dirhams in revenue and has 2,500 plus staff and over 30 branches.
Like we said, it's incredible. The independent food company is a UAE-based hospitality company now known for cultivating distinctive homegrown food concepts, which foster, as we said, community. The portfolio now includes Salt, Parker's, Somewhere, Public and Grind, and the independent group is dedicated to bringing people together through these amazing foodie experiences.
So, following, of course, people's recognition that London Salt is a rip-off, Salt's official account promptly shared on their profile, on their official Instagram story, a list of their branches, which, as expected, did not include a London branch. Which, by the way, I am like, don't try and come for Salt. Salt is like, I love it. Have you tried it?
Have I tried it? Of course I've tried it. If you haven't, by the way, if you're new to Dubai and you're thinking, where do I go to get the best burgers? Salt, Pickle, High Joint, end of. But no, no, there's so many more. We're so lucky to have such an incredible burger food scene in the city. Can I just say though, it's so interesting to see it, but imitation is the best form of flattery. 10, 20 years ago, the food scene in Dubai was international chains with a big name anchored here. They never came here. Then we've grown such an incredible homegrown food scene that actually the fact that they're copying us shows how good the food is. And although it's annoying, it's like they've stolen the name. And there was a burger joint I grew up with in Ireland, and I always thought it was amazing. And when I went to America in my 20s, I was like, the same concept, the same name, everything. But we had literally some smart, opportunistic businessman had taken the name, taken the brand, and just started in Ireland because he saw the incredible value that it would have. So that's what's happened here. I don't condone it, but it just shows that Salt is clearly something to be imitated.
I know. But I mean, like, look at the burger. I mean, okay, fine. I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's fine.
It's not going to be the same.
But it's never going to be the same because, like, there's like the Cheetos. Oh my God, the Cheetos burger. You know, no, Hisham, just don't.
It's never say that. No. It's not going to be the same. The slider is too delicious.
No, it's not. But you know, like that's the thing about Salt. You know, like you get like two mini,
the sliders,
cute
delicious,
sliders,
and the lotus desserts.
Oh my God, I am dying right now. All I'm craving right now is a burger and a cooler.
It's not the time because it is 8:53, which it means it is coffee time. Make incredible brew at home with the DeLonghi Aletta Explorer. We are living for this next segment. It's coffee time. Say hello to the DeLonghi Aletta Explorer, which is a revolutionary, fully automatic coffee machine that does cold brew with so many varieties of coffee, and you can actually make it from your home.
So, DeLonghi are the undisputed champs of espresso machines with Italian finest and years of expertise. They have perfected the art of coffee making. Not only that, but Brad Pitt, yes, you guys, that's right, the man himself is the brand ambassador. So actually, I'm going to be the barista for today.
Yay!
And I will be making a coffee right now. I used to not like coffee, but now I really do. So let me go make
It's the job. It's the job. But I'm a big...
Where's my apron?
Oh, we didn't get it.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're being a barista. The machine is tidy. It's not needed. So we're going to make. So the machine itself, it's got like 50 varieties, endless list of coffees. So we're going to make a cold brew. So we're just going to get some and ice, and this just shows you how easy it is to make it from home.
So you guys, because
we actually have the machine right here. So Farah's going to pop over.
So because it is actually summer. What I'm gonna do is there's this cup of ice. I don't know if you guys can see.
They have a camera on it.
Yeah, there's this cup of ice. Yeah, so there's this cup of ice, okay, because it's like really hot, you know. I'm gonna be putting it like right here.
And need to pop it on at the top.
And here, what you're gonna be doing is you need to have milk. Your choice of milk. You want almond milk, you want regular milk, it's up to you. Let's just open it. So we open it, and it's very easy, very simple, you guys. It literally has all of the options. So what I'm going to be choosing is the cold brew cappuccino. Of course. We press on it, and then original. If you want it to be intense, it's up to you, but I'm going to choose just like original, then brew, turn.
And you can choose the size. So what's so cool about this is there are 50 hot and cold recipes to explore. And it's just like at that little screen at the top, you know, you've got espresso, Americano, latte, cappuccino, latte macchiato, cold brew, cold cappuccino. Like you can even make, if you're a fan of cortado, they have that setting here, and I am the biggest flat white fan, and they have that at the top as well.
Okay, you guys.
Okay, so that's it, flipping up. The list of like the varieties literally goes on. You're like a perfect coffee maker.
So guys, from now on, I'm gonna be actually taking money for anyone who wants me to make coffee for them. Business.
It's ranked the #1 espresso coffee maker for a reason, and this is why, because you're not gonna be able to try it, but it's on par with anything you get at home, like if you order or if you go out to a coffee shop, because they've got this like cold extraction technology. You'd be so good as a I don't know, like a
barista. I'd be like, hi, may I have your order, please?
Okay, so it's brewing right now. This is a cold extraction technology. As Farah said, it's summer, so we want to make something cold for you guys, but it's obviously got hot and cold. It's bean to cup coffee machine, so we actually put the beans on top earlier, and you can make a fresh cold brew in less than 5 minutes. So like traditionally, this is like a 15 to 24 hour process. Yeah, which is just incredible. So it's just popping in there. I don't know about you, but I'm like so over ordering coffees for takeout. And this machine means that we literally won't have to. You can just make as many varieties as you want right from home.
Okay, so you can just ask me from now on, and I'll just like, you know, I will have actually, I would say a box. Whoever wants me to make coffee for them, you can just like put, I'm going to be giving you an offer.
Speaking of tipping culture, the thing is, like, I am such. Tell us if you're watching right now, what are the types of coffee that you're into? Because my weekend treat, like the simple things in life make you happy. My weekend treat is a flat white. We made a flat white on this yesterday, and it was perfection. Actually, perfection. I cannot believe I was able to make that level of coffee from home. I know this is the office. Final stage of coffee.
Guys,
look at that.
Now, as you can see, we actually have the milk that we chose put with our coffee, and then
and that's it. The final stage of our cold brew. I feel like I need a sustainable straw for this, but
so there you go.
Thank you. thank you, barista. You've done so good.
Barista, you guys. Finally. Hisham, if anyone wants coffee, I'll just like put 5 dirhams and I'll make one for you.
I am so here for this. I can't believe you're trying to extort tips. But a massive thank you to DeLonghi. The Aletto Explorer is making cold brew, but also 50 varieties of hot and cold coffee from home. It looks the part. If you're a coffee fan, you'll get it. It's perfection.
Actually, guys, it smells so good. You know, actually, the smell of coffee. There's a study that says the smell of coffee wakes you up as much as like when you drink coffee.
I'm just gonna wait for it to settle a second, but absolutely so much fun. I've been hoping for so long for this to happen, and it's happened. Farah's learned how to make a flat white. Okay, it's 9 o'clock, which means it is time for our next guest back in the hot seat. Mr. Golden Visa is going to be giving us all of the insights on the new Blue Visa, which was announced this week. Do stay tuned. He'll be with us after this very short break, along with a special guest. Hey guys, welcome back to Lovin Dubai show. He is back in the hot seat. We have Mr. Golden Visa along with the business development manager at Decisive Zone. They're here to talk all about, of course, the Golden Visa because so many questions have come through, but also the announcement of the new blue visa. What exactly is it? Can you qualify for it and how we can get it? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you for having me again.
So firstly to you, what brings you back here today? What was the announcement that dropped this week?
Well, there's a new announcement from Dubai government, which is the blue visa. The eligibility is more on the people working towards the betterment of the environment, especially for UAE, I would say. And more details we are going to share as we go along the show.
Great, thank you. And so you've come in today to discuss it. As soon as an announcement about any type of visa drops, like the questions just bang on the door, and I'm sure they bang on yours. So
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's only limited information available at the moment, but what is the blue visa?
So Blue Visa essentially is another new initiative by the UAE government where they want to tie up with the UAE strategy to be net zero by 2050. So they want to offer another 10-year option for residencies to individuals who have, delivered in the space of being sustainable and provided that sort of information and that sort of output, elsewhere in the world. And it sort of ties in well with their new strategy. So that's essentially what it is, yeah.
Interesting. So you say people who've delivered, but that essentially could be quite vague. So do you have any information on eligibility? So like if I want to show that I have delivered in a sustainable way, what kind of documents could I actually offer you?
I mean, it's more, it's less documentation based, but more along the lines of what you've actually done, right? So you'd have to actually show your track record of what you've done and, your achievements. Yeah. So where that sort of ties in is, what you essentially need to prove and sort of show your eligibility that, this is what I've done in the past. And hence why I would like to apply for a 10-year residency.
And is it available now?
It's getting there relatively quick. It's getting there.
The announcement just came out, but we still haven't received the costing of it, exactly how to submit the documents, what documents needs to be submitted. However, they did come up saying any person involved in international communities, NGOs who's working towards the environment, they become eligible for this blue visa.
How great of Dubai to just
Definitely,
say, we want to bring environmentalists here.
Well, it is attracting the best of the best talents from the world. This is how this is moving towards.
And when this type of announcement comes out, do you get inbounds from, someone living in another country? Like, is there interest from outside as soon as these types of announcements come through? Does the news trickle to them?
Some inquiries, especially from UK for now. We haven't really received a lot of information because this news has just come out this week. But we are still hoping as the news follow through and we get to know more on costing and details, we will get more and more inquiries for sure.
So you mentioned costs there that we don't have the information, but I would just love if you have the information to hand of cost comparisons between the different visas. So like golden visa, green visa.
Yeah.
Is there a big comparison between them?
Because the thing is that there is a bit of a difference here and there, because the thing is that they're targeted at different market segments, right? So when we're talking about golden visas, we're talking about more along the lines of investors, people who've got property, people who've got businesses in the country, who've declared, a certain amount of VAT that they filed, etc. When we're talking green visas, we're talking about entrepreneurs, small business owners, people who are just bringing a startup into the country. When we talk about blue visas, then we start talking about, people who are more, directed into the field of sustainability. So in terms of, what you have to pay in order to get one of these residency visas, it is relatively the same, but again, there's, variables involved. So, so, I mean, it plays the part in that sense, yeah.
So you're subtly saying it might be cheaper.
Well, we are really hoping, yes. Because again...
So while you're here and while we have you, it's great to kind of get insight on other topics that people have questions on. And one of those, when we put a question box out to our audience, was amortization. So we're seeing stories about amortization, fines, companies adapting. Can you explain what it is?
Yes, as Decisive Zone, because we are dealing with almost 6,000 clients and we are committed to make sure we manage all the admin work for all our clients. So we do offer human resources services wherein we start with recruitment, payroll, compensation, and managing Emiratization for all our clients.
Wow.
Now, the bomb was dropped last week. 1,300 companies got fined. So this is more of awareness, I would say, for companies who employ more than 20 employees. They must be aware that they must hire one Emirati for every 20 employees. I can give you a little bit more breakdown. So companies who have got 0 to 20 employees, they are exempted from hiring an Emirati if they do not really need one. From 20 to 49 employees, you must hire one Emirati every 6 months. And this is going to increase in 2025. And then above 50 employees, it depends on what category your company fall under. Depending on that, you must hire more and more Emiratis. How it works, Emiratis must apply for Nafis, which is a federal body, wherein the government compensates the part salary each Emirati is eligible for. So for example, if you hire an Emirati at 5,000 dirham and you have per month, and you have gotten, the Emirati has got a bachelor degree and he's, let's say, eligible for 10,000 dirham, Nafis will compensate the balance 5,000 dirham. But what the companies must do is apply for the pension system with the federal body. That's where we come in play. We help people to make sure all this admin work are taken care of. Companies must know the fine starts at 48,000 dirham per Emirati if you do not stay compliant as per the Mohere rules. Mohere is the labor body in the UAE government.
So all of that kind of government admin and paperwork, you kind of just tick all those boxes and you make sure the companies are above board.
We have got specialized team managing each of these areas.
Do you have any insight on the companies that have been penalized?
We just know the minimum fine started at 48,000 and it can go up to 2 million dirham depending on the size of the company. So everybody must, you must stay compliant with your VAT and your corporate tax. You must stay in compliant with the Emiratization because it is by His Highness's team that this has come out.
It is, and we do speak of the success of Emiratization quite regularly. Yes. But is the rule already enforced of one Emirati per 20 workforce?
First 20, you must hire. Yeah, as soon as you have first 20 employees, you must hire one. Then 20 to 49, you must hire one every 6 months. Okay. So this is a regular process. It is not a one-time hiring.
It's so interesting to watch it unfold, and it's also interesting to understand that there's a company like Decisive Zone there to help people through the legwork, which
we are here for you.
It's interesting because some people are so talented at, for example, if we're good at media, but like the paperwork in the back end, that's for, let's put that somewhere else. We have you back in the hot seat, Mr. Golden Visa, and every single time we put the question box up, so we're going to rehash it. How do you get a Golden Visa?
Let's talk about this today.
Every single time it's like, do you have any questions? Like, how do I get one? We're like, we have answered it, but while you're here.
Right. So yeah, Golden Visa essentially, like Duty has been explaining. So you can either go down the route of having a property where if it's valued over 2 million dirham, you can apply for it. You need to show a title deed. You can apply for it. Pretty straightforward process. The second option is if you're an investor who has a business that's been running in the country, and if you have filed a VAT of about 275,000 dirham, you can also use that as a declaration that you are active in the country, and you can use that as paperwork in terms of checking eligibility. So you can also get that done that way.
And again, how much does it cost?
For the salaried employees who gets 30,000 dirham and above, or a corporate level, C-level executive, management level executive, they can check the eligibility. The cost is between 4,700 to 5,500. That's the basic government cost. For people, investors, businessmen, and people taking a golden visa based on their property, it starts between 9,700 and 12,000 dirham, depending on the VIP services.
Okay, so it changes. And then is it necessary, maybe you understand this question more than I do, actually no, is it necessary to have 50% construction done for a golden visa? So if you're buying the
No, it is not 50%. It is 24% of the construction must be completed of the property to become eligible for the Golden Visa.
And is there paperwork that people can get in that instance to kind of prove
Yes,
it?
the developers are providing paperwork to support claiming for the Golden Visa.
And what about if the property is off plan, but it's valued over 2 million? Does that count?
Yes, off-plan properties are eligible for Golden Visa. Again, as I mentioned, the property must have completed 24% of construction to become eligible for it.
Guys, thank you so much. That brings us to the end of the show today. If you have
Casey.
questions, how can people reach out to Decisive Zone and get those questions answered?
DecisiveZone.ae. You can find us on Instagram, Decisive Zone, @Decisive Zone, or you can WhatsApp us directly, 05535
Visa, amortization, all of your business needs covered by these guys. That brings us to the end of the show. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Bye-bye.
Perfect. Thank you, Casey.